Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees. Sorry, Stacy's texting me as I'm trying to sing. My sweetie out in Boston with my other sweetie. Where was I? Little Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here. Love, love, love that song. Did you exchange your heroes for ghosts? Wait. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? The meaning. Those lyrics have meaning. I'm telling you right now. What did Sweetie say to me? What did she say? Where do you go now? Oh, I learned some new text technique via looking it up on YouTube, and I sent her 2 hearts that like exploded. A bunch of hearts exploded on her screen when she read my text. Like a kid. No, I'm like an old person learning new tricks. Old dog, new tricks. Wow, what a start. You're really onto something. Yes, let's get into it. It is Friday, May 2nd, 20 and the 25 on the Mayan calendar, 3:46 p.m. on the Swatch Watch here in the farm fields of Valparaiso, Indiana. Yeah, I did just get off the phone with my ladies as well. They're giving me a rundown of what went on today. And to give you an update, Maya Coco, she did have her interview. What is today? Friday? She had her interview Thursday. It went fantastic. And today they offered her the job. Coco, don't go. So I'm thrilled and also sad. Both of those. And as I've told you before, laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. So she's got to go and do what she wants to do. And I will back her up every step of the way. But it doesn't mean I won't be a little sad in the meantime. And then all the added expense of me and Lady, and probably a lot more Lady than me, traveling to and fro from Boston. But she was texting me pictures and videos today, and just they're both telling me how much they love Boston, and it's amazing. It's so clean and neat. And they saw Paul Revere's house, and they went to some cemetery that had John Hancock and Ben Franklin's parents in this cemetery. They went to Cheers, the old the bar that the show is based on, etc. So I'm very happy for them. Very happy for me. I could just hear the joy in both of their voices. And you get married, you don't know. You hope the best, of course. You imagine it's going to work out. But I have and did manifest this life even as early as I can remember. I still have a letter that I wrote myself in 4th grade. I was sick from school, went to my mom's Allstate office with her, and she let me use the typewriter. So I was like just typing up a bunch of goofy stuff, and I typed a letter to myself that I still have. And that letter is amazing. And no, I didn't become a sports agent like the letter said. Didn't go to law school. Almost went, even though never did make it. Ended up getting married and deciding real estate was the path for me instead of waiting another 3 years of being broke in law school and then trying to get that going. I'm just telling you my whole life story, I guess. Anyways, 27 years later, 3 wonderful, sometimes wonderful children, beautiful little 9-pound Shih Tzu. Life is good. So let's get to the getting. I promise this time we'll actually get to it. So had all futures trades this week. I'm still waiting. And I talked about this with you the other day. I'm still waiting for a setup, another highly probable setup in gold and silver, especially silver, because all of my research that I've done for, over the years looking at gold and silver and the moves they make, gold always makes the move first and then silver lags and then usually has a parabolic catch-up move. And it hasn't happened yet, as you know. I did get out of my silver positions. It feels like it's got to be at least a month ago. And I've been just waiting, twiddling my thumbs, biding my time, waiting for the next entry. So in the meantime, Robinhood informs me that I'm approved for futures trading. I didn't even know they had futures, to be honest with you. So I've been deep diving into that, which is perfect for my personality. I love rabbit holes. I love researching, learning, trying new things out. I'm a ready, fire, aim guy, which doesn't always bode well, especially on the financial side. Just like when I first started trading options, I was clicking buttons and trading options before I even knew what an option was. Kind of the same here with the futures. So I've only traded futures for the last 2 weeks. I did add some shares of TMF today. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, when are you going to let that dog die? That dog's coming back to life next week, according to my honest and accurate opinion. We'll get to the charts in uno momento. But let's look at the trades that I've made in the futures market this week. And let's see. Okay, so you already know what went on Monday. Had a beautiful start and then got kicked in the cookie bag. Ended up with a daily 802 positive. I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it. Tuesday we had 1, 2, 3, 4 successful trades. It was just bouncing back and forth between. Did I do Natty that day? No, maybe that was last week. I think the only thing I traded all week was S&P futures and Bitcoin futures. So Tuesday, 4 positive trades for a total of $5,946 bills. And then on a Wednesday, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for 6 on our trades. And we ended up with $5,775. Yesterday, same thing. Now we did have some oil yesterday, some oil futures, $814 on that trade. Could have made a lot more if I wouldn't have been scared. Moved up, started putting my stop in way too early. And I've have a pattern of doing that. As you can tell from looking at the size of that big loss I had, and none of these have been big yet, but they add up, and I'll take them all day, every day. Because when I was thinking about when I first started getting the nerve up to make some futures trades, I thought if I could make $1,000 a day, man, that would be something. 5,000 a week. I could deal with that. And it's turned out to be so far. I mean, I can be rug pulled, at any time next week in the trades. But for now, so far, so good. So we had, how many trades did we have yesterday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positive trades for a daily take of $7,212 bills. And then today we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive trades. And I did buy the 2,000 shares of TMF at $39.56. I think it's trading at in the 39.30s as we speak. But I see good things going for it, going on next week. Is my option still showing up there? No, it's already. So my options that I put on last week on the TMF, and I collected just over $4,000 in premium. So that expired at full profit. Didn't have to do anything with that because unfortunately it was not under any attack because it was a $43 strike and we closed at $39.50. And it was under pressure the other day, and I was hoping that I'd have a decision to make. Do I let it go or do I roll? So didn't have to make that decision because it kept going down to Chinatown today. So what is that? What's that number for today then? 76.27. We'll take that all day, every day, and twice on a Sunday, right? I don't know why. I do know why I started moving this to the side because I'd have other information in this box, but we'll just keep with the theory or the theme for now. Leave that on the board, on the right side of that column. So what does that do for the week? Where do we go now? Yeah. So 76.27 plus 72.12 plus 57.75 plus 59.46 plus, whoa, it's going to be a big number, 802. 27,362. Whew, 27. Not a bad week. Not a bad week for a retired gent. But I will say this. Whew, futures is not like trading options, not like swing trading. It is intense. It is intense. So I wouldn't really recommend it. But so far so good as far as the payoff is concerned. But the intensity, why did we put it there? Why did you put it? I'll move it. So another week in the books. And what did we do? So we did 27,352 net profit in the pocket. And I think it was more last week. Yeah, 32,749. How about that? So we got that going for us. But I'm having doubts about this channel. And the reason I say that is because I was like, I really, if I'm going to be trading futures, it'd be kind of interesting to trade them live. So if somebody wanted to tune in and watch, the squeaky wheels moving in my head as I talk out loud and contemplate trades, and what are the things that I look at when I'm trading the futures, which is way different than what I'm looking at on the options and what I'm looking at on swing trade opportunities. Those are more, Fibonacci based. I do still use Elliott Wave and Fibonacci for my directional bias on a particular day, on a particular moment, but then I look price action right in the eye. And I've been using RSI like a drug the past 2 weeks, relative strength index. And that's why I'll probably have to apologize, or I will apologize up front right now on these charts, as I don't really touch them while I'm trading futures, because I've got Robinhood pulled up on the laptop. Then I've got over here on the Big Mac, I've got the trading view up with 4 different panels. And obviously, mostly just looking at 2 Bitcoin futures. But I also like to look at Bitcoin spot price as well as futures at the same time. And the S&P 500, the E-minis, the ES up on the board. So I stare at those while I'm getting into a trade, put my limit orders in, stare at it like I'm going to somehow affect it to move in the direction of my limit order, gets filled, and then you go immediately on to, okay, now when am I going to sell this or buy this? If I'm short, I'm buying back. If I'm long, I'm selling. There you are, being distracted again. So I don't look at the charts on the laptop during all of that. So that was basically the trades that I made today. In fact, that $693 was made from the track at the YMCA today. After back and biceps, I walked around the track, was of course looking at my Robinhood app, saw what looked to be a pretty good setup. It ended up not great, but another $693 right into my pocket. So, and I'm only telling you this, don't tell Stacy. One of my favorite guilty pleasures, and I don't have these very often, is the original chicken sandwich from Burger King. And she'll eat them, but she really doesn't like them like I do. So, whenever she's out of town, I may have one. So I was driving her convertible today because they took my car to the airport. And so I pull up the Burger King and don't take any of this the wrong way. So the toothless cashier, she was probably in her 60s. Oh no. I just got another text from Stacy, and it says Madison just told Maya that she's a Democrat now. Madison is kid 1, Maya kid 2. I got some explaining to do. I got some work to do. Anyways, I'm not a far right leaning Republican, but I'm definitely a Republican. because I care about my family and what's best for my family. And the Republicans seem to have my back. Not always. You can't trust either side. I think we all know that. But the Republicans go a little easier on me than the Democrats do. So I pull up after ordering my chicken sandwiches because I got one for Deuce too, and just in case. And I roll up, and the first thing she says, and she's in her 60s, she's toothless. She says, "I want that car." And I said, "That's probably won't, my wife would not be happy about that." She's like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "But I'm driving it because she's out of town." So she laughed, and she's like, "Oh my God, what if she wrote down your mileage?" I said, "I'm going to drive it home in reverse." And so she laughed and thought that was funny. But then, on my drive home, I was thinking, and this is how my goofy brain works. Like, so say, that lady tunes into a YouTube video and I'm trading live and she's got $500 to her name and she sees one of my trades and then she makes the trade and loses all of her $500. I can't handle that. I can't. I know I should. It's like, don't even worry about it. They're grown adults, and if they're going to make trades, they need to be responsible. But I'm an empath, and an empath has a higher sensitivity to other people's feelings. So being an empath is great for sales, even though I don't like to be a salesperson, but technically that's what I was as a real estate broker for all those years. And as an empath, you can read people more easily than most anyone else can because you're in tune more so with their emotions than a lot of times they are. And especially when it comes to negotiations, it's a huge advantage. But it's not an advantage if I'm going to have a live YouTube channel where I'm making live trades that just by the nature of it, because, people will look at the size of the account and think I know what I'm doing, where, a lot of that money came from real estate. And I would not sleep well at night knowing that someone took a trade that I made and they lost their money, especially if they didn't have the money to lose. So I'm second guessing that. Just let me know in the comments below what you think. Should I do some live trading or will it hurt my heart if things go awry for someone? Let's go to the charts. I'm just babbling on and on today for you. Having a good time. Here we go. So I don't know. I thought let's go to the futures. I was thinking the next move, we talked about this the other day, for silver was up here. I don't believe it anymore. So I'm pulling this off and I'm going to redo it over the weekend. Going to redo it over the weekend. Okay. SLV. Same. I think they're heading south. That's just all of these, gold and silver, all going downtown to Chinatown. They're going to go down. It's not going to be a lot. Bitcoin, hey, got our 5. Got our 5 right there. So, and again, this could be just based on the price action today, especially earlier today, I thought for sure we would at least hit the top of this box. And the top of this box is 98,263 and has not done that. Doesn't mean it won't do it over the weekend, but this could be it for this move, meaning a local high, 3-wave corrective move. And then we find out from there, based on the next impulsive move, which way Bitcoin's going. I think that this move may be over as far as to the north side. I'll be looking for a 3-wave move down over the weekend. But again, I would not be surprised if it didn't test the top of this box and then some. You know how Bitcoin do? It moves dramatically. So here's Bitcoin futures. So what I do, don't try this at home. When I am trading the futures, and I have this up on the Big Mac to the left of me here, and I look at, so I have a 2, this is a 5-minute chart. I think I used a 2 on the ES. Yeah. So this is a 5-minute chart on Bitcoin futures with the 5-day RSI. And essentially, I just watch price action. What is it doing? What is the story telling me? And before that, of course, I'm looking at the big charts, what I have with the Fibonacci's, with the different measurements, etc., to determine what I think is going to go on today as far as price action is concerned. Because you can see right here, and again, this is a 5 minute, but this is back to the early part of the day, and this move. So I made, that $3,200 chunk of dough during that move while I was out walking the dog. I mean, it was finishing. I had to stop and put my sell order in to get out of the trade. Did so, made some nice dough. But on the price action, I'm just watching for what's the patterns telling me? What can I see going on? And look how high it got. It actually went this is now, again, the futures number is different than spot. So you can see right now futures are at 97,505 and spot is at 97,049. So they're typically always a different number. So when we get oversold or overbought, I should say, and we get above the dotted line here on the RSI, I'm looking to short. So you see, as this climbs up, okay, we're getting long in the tooth on this move up. Then I start looking at putting in a limit order to sell, which means short. And then when we come back down and start approaching oversold, then I'm looking to long. Now, in between is typically where I'm taking profit, just because I'm a scaredy cat. But it's not rocket science. And I'm telling you, it's not. Don't trust it and don't rely on it. If you think you want to try it out, paper trade it first. It's a simple technique, but it's also combined with the fact that I've been staring at these charts for 2 weeks, watching every tick go on. So you get a little dialed in. So that's what's going on as far as my current trading thoughts on the futures. Elliott Wave with Fibonacci to determine what I think is a directional bias. From there, short-term chart, 5 minute or 2 minute. I'll sometimes go to 1 minute. RSI, change it to 5. I like the 5 and just watching it to see, is this telling me a story? And a lot of times it is. At least it has been this whole week for me. And then I've got the 2 minute futures chart up here and then the 5 day on the RSI. Same deal, looking for price action. What's going to go on? And just looking at this right now, you can tell probably the same thing I can tell, which is look what we have here. We got a downtrend, even though the market was up big today. So this, to me, then automatically gives me some bias towards the south side for the start of the futures trading on Sunday. We'll see. We're going into Fed meeting. It looks like they're not going to lower rates again. It'll depend on what else goes on with the tariff news, etc. So a lot of that is coming into play. But these are just the simple things that I look at the last 2 weeks trading the futures. So that's that. There's that. We talked about this beginning of it's probably 2 weeks ago. This just happened, didn't it? Yeah. So we put our line in the sand there. So I put that on Monday, hoping that's what it was going to hold. It did. It got a little candle into it. Then we put this up here. I just wanted to see, we had a bunch of resistance showing up. Let's get through that. We got through it, but I think this move is about exhausted. But what I think is that's probably, I'm just throwing this on here. I'll figure out more on the weekends. I think that's 3. So what do we go from 3? We go to 4 and then we go higher to 5. So that would be my current take without spending another second on it right now, which I will do over the weekend. But I'll be busy. I got Cubs games to watch. Got F1. All kinds of stuff. We got our target here, didn't we? It looked like it was way up there when we first put it on, but we got right in the zone, auto zone. Hit the target there. And this looks far off now, but that's still coming this year. While I was enjoying my original chicken sandwich, I had the talking heads on CNBC, and I saw The um, crawl at the bottom said, "Are the lows in for the year?" They are not. Not even close, bud. The lows are not in for the year. And we did. We hit our target here too. Got right into the target. Doesn't mean we're done, but I think we're done with these moves. The S&P and Nasdaq here, I would be looking for a three-wave move down the 4, and then one more rocket shot to 5, and both of them coming up and coming to a theater near you. TLT just cookie bagging me, rug pulling me, cookie jarring me, making my butt stink, all of the above. I mean, this is as high as you got, and we are this overbought. That's unbelievable. So we never did make it to the C. I don't think it's over, but I think the ABC count is dead. So this is all coming off. All coming off. So we'll regroup on the TLT, which means we'll regroup on the TMF. In fact, I'm just getting that thing out of here for now. And you know where are we at? Now take this out. We did that, but then we came right back into it, didn't we? Oh no. I'm sorry, we want to go lower. This is the inverse. So this yield is the inverse of what TMF and TLT will do. This goes up, those go down. This goes down, those go up. So we need to get back below the white, and then we need to get into and below the yellow. We will. I just don't have, at the moment, I have no idea when, which hurts my heart a little bit. And we got a little bit of the green once I put this big green arrow in. Still meandering again, though. I'm going to recount all of this. I still do think that the local low is in here. But what is all this? We got to try to figure that out anyways. Oil's been real difficult lately. Yeah, we got our question mark. Did we put that on the other day together? I think so. Put that in there. We hit it, went right into there, and then bounced right out. But we will regroup. We will regroup. And then there is oil futures, nothing on there. Natty. Oh, man. Imagine if you would have been more aware and not busy with all your baseball cards and your F1 watching and all that stuff. When you said you were going to trade it, if it gets back in that target box, I'm going to trade this. Oh, look at that. That would have been, and especially if I would have traded Boyle, which I would have. Boyle's the 3 times directional ETF on natural gas. I would have made enough to retire. Hey, you are retired. Doesn't feel like it when you're trading futures. It does not feel like it. So those are the charts. That's my long-winded approach going into the weekend, and then looking for next week. I think next week we might have some action. The action might not be what we want. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hope you have amazing plans for the weekend. Hug your significant others, your spouse, your wife, your husband, your kids. Love them for everything that they are. If they're young and they're small, there'll be that last time when you walk them up to tuck them into bed and you read them a story. There will be that last time, and it comes sooner than later. Have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, comment, share with a lovable friend, and I will see you in the next video.